Hey, girl, hey, welcome back to the show. Today's topic: the power of forgiving, a conversation that heals, frees, and restores. Now, forgiveness doesn't excuse what happened, but it does release what's been holding you hostage. And sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. In this episode, we're going to explore what forgiveness really looks like. Not the sugar coated church answer, but the honest human, I'm still learning this version. I'll break down why forgiveness matters, how it frees our mind and spirit, and how God uses forgiveness to heal places we didn't even know were broken. So let's get started with the power of forgiving. Today's episode is one that is close to my heart because it taught me in real time just how powerful forgiveness really is. Not the pretty kind, not the kind we talk about but never do, but the kind that frees your spirit, calms your mind, and returns your joy. And let me tell you, I learned this lesson standing in the bleachers at my grandson's wrestling tournament. So picture this: a loud gym, kids wrestling, families cheering, and me just minding my business trying to enjoy the moment. And out of nowhere, God dropped something in my spirit. Call your ex-husband and his wife. Tell them you forgive them. My reaction? Oh, I know you're lying to me. Nope, not today, Lord. I brushed it off. And a few minutes later, again, clear as day, call them. Tell them you forgive them. And I ignored it again until the third time. God's voice wasn't loud, it was firm. It was one of those moments where you know He's not asking, He's inviting you to be free. But I still felt myself resisting because forgiveness, it's easy to say, but hard to actually do. And the crazy thing is, I didn't even realize how much space those old wounds were still taking up inside of me. So the moment everything shifted is when the wrestling match was nearing the end and I felt the small nudge, gentle but strong enough to move me. I got up from the bleachers and searched for a quiet and secluded space. I took a deep breath. I opened my phone. I made the call. When he answered, I asked if they both could be on the phone. And with some hesitation, he agreed. The second I spoke the words, I forgive you, something lifted. I can't even explain it. It was instant, like peace ran up on me. Freedom wrapped itself around me, and happiness, real, quiet, internal happiness, it just rose up. I didn't know forgiveness could feel like that. For so long, I thought I had truly forgiven, but it was like a physical release, like God unlocked a door I didn't even know was closed. But what exactly is forgiveness? Forgiveness is not pretending it didn't hurt. It's not co signing the behavior. It doesn't mean trust comes back. It doesn't mean you want a relationship again. And it doesn't even mean they changed. Forgiveness is for you choosing freedom. It's you sending eviction notices to old pain. It's you saying, this will not live in me anymore. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 31 through 32 tells us to get rid of bitterness and forgive one another, just as God forgave you. And let me tell you, that's a tall order when you still remember the details. But God knows something we forget. Forgiveness holds up our blessings, our joy, and our peace. There were a few lessons I learned in those bleachers. That moment at the wrestling tournament, it wasn't about my ex-husband. It wasn't about their response. It was about my freedom. God had been trying to get that weight off of me for a couple of years, but I kept carrying it because the pain felt justified. Sometimes God has to reach us in the middle of life, in a gym, in a grocery store, in our car, because He knows that if we sit with it too long, we'll take ourselves out of obedience. And once I finally obeyed, I felt peace. I felt light. I felt myself again. I felt like my old self, but becoming a new person, right? Well, how to forgive when you don't feel like it? Because best believe, God had to nudge me 3 times, and I didn't even feel like it. But by the third time, I knew I had to obey. So, for the person listening who knows God has been nudging you to forgive someone, here's what I learned. Number one, acknowledge the hurt. You can't release what you refuse to recognize. Number two, be honest with God. Tell him, I don't want to forgive. He's not intimidated by our honesty. Number three, obey the nudge. Even if your voice shakes, even if your heart isn't fully there yet. Number four, separate forgiveness from access. Forgiveness doesn't mean they get back into your life. And number five, expect peace. Because God never asks you to forgive without promising freedom on the other side. In reflecting, ask yourself, what have I been avoiding forgiving? Where is bitterness still living in me? What peace is waiting for me on the other side of obedience? There's a prayer I'd like to say at the end and share with you. Lord, give us the strength to forgive, even when it feels impossible. Pull out every root of bitterness, every heavy thing we've carried too long. Thank you for the peace, the freedom, and the joy that come with obedience. Heal our hearts and lead us into the fullness of your freedom. In your name, amen. Well, here's the call to action to wrap up our episode. First, I want to thank you for listening. But before you go, if this episode touched your heart, share it with someone who needs the reminder that forgiveness is freedom. And don't forget to subscribe. We're building a community of real talk, real growth, and real healing. So until next time, hey girl, hey.